Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Sarah binti Mayazid, and today I will be presenting a case study related to hazard identification and risk assessment during my internship at BMIM3254 Berhad. This presentation will walk through the types of hazards found, how they were identified, and how I used the HIRAT method to evaluate and suggest proper control measures. Hopefully, this will give a clear picture of the risks involved, even in departments that don't use heavy machinery. Okay, this is a quick overview of the contents for my presentation. I will start with a general introduction to hazards, followed by a short profile of the organization. Then I will walk through the objectives, methods, hazards identified, HIRAT analysis, and end with a conclusion. Alright, let's begin by understanding first what a hazard really is, because identifying risk starts with knowing what we are actually looking out for. In any workplace, hazards can be both obvious and hidden. Some hazards cause direct physical harm, others affect our long-term health or job performance. For example, physical hazards like poor lighting can affect inspection quality. Mechanical ones are rare in OGI, but things like trolleys still have small risk. Chemical exposure might come from glue or cleaning products, though not frequent. Biological hazards are low but can exist in shared areas with poor hygiene. Ergonomic risks like bending awkwardly or repeating tasks too long can strain the body. And psychosocial hazards, things like stress from tight deadlines or poor communication, can really affect mental health. All this, even if not obvious, still matter in risk management. Okay, now that we have looked at what hazards are, I will explain a bit about the company and department where this case study was conducted. Besi Apex Sdn Berhad is a semiconductor company based in Sungai Besar. I was assigned to the OGI department, which is outgoing inspection, where we carry out the final checking process before products are sent to customers. The tasks here involve checking documentation, verifying packaging, and managing scheduling. Even though it seems simple, these areas still have their own set of hazards, especially when it comes to time pressure and communication. The company follows OSHA 1994 and FMA 1967 to ensure workplace safety across all levels. Okay, so now that we know where the case study is based, here are the main objectives I focused on throughout the analysis. The purpose of this case study is to first identify the hazards present in the department. Then, using the HIRAT method, I evaluated the level of risk each hazard brings. From there, I proposed control actions that are suitable and can realistically be implemented. Okay, to achieve those objectives, these were the methods I used to identify and analyze the hazards. To identify these hazards, I used three basic methods. First, I observed the inspection process to see what problems might occur. Then I interviewed staff and supervisors to understand their experiences. And finally, I used HIRAT to analyze the level of risk based on how often the hazard occurs and how serious the effect is. With that method, these were the 6 main hazards I found during my internship. Okay, so here are the 6 main hazards that I observed in the department. Incomplete documents often cause inspection delays. Incorrect packaging created risk of damage during transport. Sometimes we didn't have enough manpower, especially during peak times, which affected productivity. Miscommunication also occurred when urgent tasks were not clearly passed down. The two major ones were last-minute submissions and the lack of a scheduling system. Both had a big impact on the flow of work and caused unnecessary stress. Okay, so how serious are these hazards? To answer that, I used the HIRAT method, and here's the summary of the risk evaluation. This hierarchy form lists 6 hazards, each rated based on likelihood and severity. Incomplete documentation and insufficient manpower are high risk due to delays and fatigue. Miscommunication also affects task flow, so it's rated high. Incorrect packaging is medium risk, while last-minute submissions and no scheduling system are critical because they happen often and disrupt operations. This helps identify which hazards need faster action. Okay, next, this is the standard risk matrix used in HIRAC. It combines two things, okay? The likelihood of something happening and the severity if it does happen. Okay, green is low risk, yellow is medium, and red is high. This chart helps us prioritize which hazards need more attention based on actual data, not just assumption. Okay, so now that we have analyzed the hazards and their risk, I will end the presentation with a short conclusion. Although the OGI department doesn't involve heavy machinery, they identify hazards such as incomplete documentation, manpower shortage, and poor scheduling still pose significant risks. Through HIRAC, these hazards were analyzed and matched with appropriate control actions. By implementing this solution, the department can improve safety, reduce stress, and ensure smoother inspection process while staying compliant with OSHA 1994 and FMA 1967. Okay guys, that's all from me. Thank you for watching, and I hope this presentation has given a clear picture of the hazards and risk assessment done during my internship. Hopefully, the explanation was helpful and easy to understand. Bye!